Okay, so the question that generates today's presentation is Hashimoto's an autoimmune disease? So I've been in this for so long, that twists my brain around to think that there's anybody that doesn't know that Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease at this point. Not to be an insult. I'm living in an alternative world. I'm living in a world where all day long, like probably 80% of my patients have autoimmune thyroid disease. So the answer is yes. So Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease. So here's how it works, okay? So I'll give you my family, okay? If that person asked that question, they may not know I have Hashimoto. So I have Hashimoto's. And so I have a mother who had her thyroid taken out. I have an aunt who had her thyroid taken out. I had a grandmother, all on the same side, who had a goiter, like until she died at like 96 or 97 years old. So this was back in the 50s, 60s, and really nobody was talking about Hashimoto's back then. I mean, it was just like an afterthought in like somebody's physiology book in medical school, but nobody really thought anybody got it. Okay, but the point is you have to have the genetics first to get it. In a family where, if your mom's got it, the chances, and she has two daughters, the chances, there's a strong probability one of them's going to get it today. Okay, so you have to have the genetics to be turned on. That's autoimmunity in general, whether it's Hashimoto's, whether it's rheumatoid arthritis, whether it's lupus. You have to have the genetics. Then what has to happen is you have to be unfortunate enough to get at a point in your life where your physiology crashes, or you have a trigger that is so significant that it overcomes the ability of your immune system to stop you from turning on that gene that will now cause you to have Hashimoto's. And you can, so the immune system gets triggered, and it can either attack the thyroid tissue, so it's called thyroglobulin tissue. There's a test called an anti-thyroglobulin test, or much more commonly, the peroxidase enzyme. And the peroxidase enzyme is an enzyme that takes tyrosine. Thyroid hormone is T4 and T3. The T is tyrosine, the 4 iodines. So it takes this tyrosine and it mixes it with hydrogen peroxide, and then it sucks these 4 iodines in, and now you have T4. So this thyroid peroxidase enzyme is a key player that makes your thyroid hormone. That can get attacked. So you can either attack the enzyme, which is frankly way more common, or you can attack the tissue, or you can attack both. I see it all. I see all that happening. And then once that happens, that turns on your genetics, and now your immune system has been given the okay to attack you over and over and over again every time you trigger an attack. So the initial triggers that started, for me, it was an overwhelming infection. I had pneumonia, and I was under an enormous amount of stress at the time. So you put those two things together, and I got the pneumonia, and I wasn't coming out of it. And then as time went on, I started to look things up and find people who knew about this, and came to ultimately discover I had Hashimoto's and a couple of other things. It can be that. It can be a surgery. It can be an injury. If you get like, I'm a chiropractor, so I did chiropractic for a long time before I got into functional medicine. So I saw lots of car accidents, a lot of whiplashes, a lot of disc problems. That will create a massive cortisol storm, an inflammatory hormone that comes out of your adrenal glands, and that'll set it off. Stress will set it off. Injuries will set it off. Having a baby will set it off. I was pregnant, my second child, I had the baby, and nothing was ever the same again. Next thing you know, I had constipation, put on weight, my hair was falling out, I can't lose it, I'm fatigued, dry skin, heart palpitations, and so on and so forth. Those are the big ones. Surgeries will do it. Surgery can set it off, because when you have surgery, not unlike when you have an injury, your body knows you're getting cut into. Your body's going like, ah! and it's putting out all the stress hormones, and then those stress hormones can trigger it off. So those are like the triggers that'll trigger the person that has the genetic propensity to develop it. Now, if you can have the gene to develop it and never develop it, if none of this happens. Okay, so this is all to the answer of is this autoimmune? And then the other thing is once you get it, then there's now for autoimmune thyroid disease, I think I have a video online that says the 39 different triggers for autoimmune thyroid disease, and I think right now we're up to 41 or 42. And so those triggers can be chemical triggers, those triggers can be dietary triggers, those triggers can be lifestyle triggers, they can be pathogenic triggers. You've heard of people go, oh, Epstein-Barr virus causes it, Lyme disease causes it. You've heard them say, don't eat gluten, or you've heard them say, don't eat nightshades, or it's sugar, just blood sugar problems can set it off. So all of, like diabetes and even hypoglycemia, even low blood sugar swings and stuff. All of these things can trigger. So once those major triggers have triggered the genetics to tell your immune system to attack your thyroid as a foreign object, then all these other triggers can keep perpetuating it. And then that's what makes you feel miserable. And then you have to get all those other triggers under control to get out of it, to calm everything down and to be able to walk around feeling like a normal human being again. So yes, Hashimoto's is that's what it is. It is an autoimmune disease.